What's up, little bros and big bros? Just imagine you uprooted your whole family, babies, toddlers, kids, wife, everybody. You traveled to a land that you've never been before in your life off of the hopes of having a better life because you saw it on social media.
Up in Chicago, for example, a group of people who came out of Venezuela, all the way from Venezuela with hopes of a better life. They've been living on the streets. They say, we're going back home. One of them declaring the American dream doesn't exist. Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez with me now. Sir, how you doing? Good morning. I saw this story. I said, well, this is wacky. How many people are we talking about?
Chicago has seen 20,000 migrants appear on our streets since August of last year. We've got nearly 3,000 living in police stations, 800 living at O'Hare Airport, and thousands more just floating around in between shelter to shelter. And I'm sorry that they don't like our weather. I'm sorry that they feel that we're not doing enough to give them jobs, housing, vehicles, cars, food, shelter, clothing, and everything else that they were promised by social media. But the system works if you do it the right way, and declaring asylum because you need a job isn't the right way, and they're learning that reality the hard way now.
Well, the truth is our law does not offer asylum if the question is economic. You know, the question, Are you under hardship? Are you being persecuted? Are you being religiously persecuted? I don't know how many coming across the border can check all those boxes. Anyway, number of migrants bust to Chicago out of Texas alone per Governor Greg Abbott as of November 11th, so a couple days ago, more than 18,400. Here's the money Illinois has spent on humanitarian aid for migrants. You're over $330 million, which, by the way, is cheap compared to New York. I'm going to read your quote.
Let's travel on over to New York City.
Between NYCHA tenants and newly arrived migrants.
Fox 5's Ashley Rodriguez shows us how tensions are growing with not enough food to go around.
So the poor citizens of New York who depend on food services are being ignored, and those services are now going to migrants. Now, this has caused some tension in the poor communities between both the migrants and the citizens who've already been there.
Why do we have to take the butt of everything? Okay, this community here is already suffering.
The residents living in NYCHA's Queensbridge houses look forward to the mobile food pantries that show up weekly. But over the past year, they have witnessed 8,000 migrants move into their neighborhood, and they have also noticed the migrants are also starting to take their stuff.
They was first online for the turkeys this morning. If they tell you to be there at 11 o'clock, you get there like 10:30, 10:45, but they already out there. The line is from over there to over here.
Free food giveaways, especially during the holidays, have become a source of tension between longtime New Yorkers struggling to get by and newly arrived migrants who are using the system to survive. A month ago, one altercation got so heated between a resident and a migrant, someone ended up in the hospital.
Shout out to Nate the lawyer for the New York City clip. But let's talk about some things right now. What has happened is you got people that looked on social media, think this country's doing so great, and then they get here and realize it's all false. Social media lied to you because you got people already struggling in this country that need assistance. You see what happens is, ladies and gentlemen, is the only people that get screwed from this are your hardworking taxpayers. I've always been on the side of the hardworking taxpayers, but what happens is the hardworking taxpayers have been getting screwed for so long. This is where these scammers pop up, and this is why a lot of people fall for this because they feel like the system is rigged. And you know what? The system is rigged. They take from the hardworking people who go to work every day, and they give to people who come from other countries, and they give to people who take advantage and game the system. Now, let me be clear with this. If you're on SNAP, government assistance, disability, food stamps, and you genuinely need that, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. My heart goes out to you. I know people that genuinely cannot work. But if you've been gaming the system and you're able-bodied people to go to work and you can provide a service, what happens is I don't feel sorry for you, because now you know what it feels like, because you've been taken from the taxpayers for so long, and now you got other people that have seen, oh, I can have a better life if I go to the United States, and guess what? Even if I don't get a job, or even if I can't find a job, they're going to feed me for free. But in reality, these towns, these cities, this country, this government does not have any money without the hardworking taxpayers. And then what happens is you create a rebellious group of people. You start putting the American public against each other, because you got the people who want to open their doors to everybody, and then you got the people that close the doors because they see a problem where you got to take care of home first. Now you're going to start to have problems. You're going to start to have problems where people in poor communities are going to be fighting with other people who need and want what they have. Think about this. You saw something on social media. You saw people in Bentleys. You see mansions. You see people with money to their ear and making it rain and all this jewelry. You get there and just think that you can get any type of job, or you're going to get hired and you can get these things too. You can get this lavish lifestyle. And then when you get here, you see we already have a impoverished community who is not working, who do not have benefits, and do not have a great system and structure set in place. The problem with this country is we portray ourselves to be doing so great to the world. In reality, we're not doing great. This is all one big facade. That social media paints a picture of how we want our lives and we want our country and the world to look. In reality, when you look at the realistic aspects of it, it's totally different. If you go to your big cities, go to even your rural areas, you'll see people are struggling. There's businesses going under. You got more homelessness. I was in Philadelphia recently. You got more homelessness in Center City, Philadelphia, than I've ever seen in my life. You go to Newark, New Jersey. You go to all these big cities. You go to LA. You go to San Fran. There's so much homelessness. There's so many programs that were taken away from the working class people that two things were not being used, we did not take advantage of, and they take from this to give to that. The problem is we're trying to get blood out of a rock and it's not working. We're headed for a downward spiral, and the only people that can fix this are the hardworking taxpayers. We need to speak up, and we need to have our voice out here that we can't bring in any more people until we fix our problem. What happens is if you don't have enough people going to work bringing in tax revenue, you can't bring in more mouths to feed, because now you're going to create a bottleneck in your inner cities. You're going to create more crime. You're going to create more poverty. You're going to create more single family homes, because what will happen is you'll have people in the inner cities that will get locked up. They will end up going into the prison system, and now you create a repetitive cycle of single moms raising children, and then we got to take care of them with food stamps and all this type of stuff. So what are people from other countries supposed to do when they have babies in this country? If they don't have people to help feed them, who do you think feeds them? Your hardworking taxpayers. And therefore, your hardworking taxpayers, they can't keep food on their table because you keep raising taxes, and then eventually the hardworking people fall into poverty. They'll take more chances with their money, believing in scams, losing money to other people because they are willing and they have to do anything they can to keep the lights on. No regrets. Get it.